The core of an argument. Argument is a process that combines truth-seeking and persuasion. As stated in the Writing Arguments textbook, truth-seeking means to seek the best or most just solution to a problem, while observing all available evidence, listening with an open mind to the views of all stakeholders, clarifying and attempting to justify your own values and assumptions, and taking responsibility for your argument. Persuasion means to win over a belief. An arguer continuously moves back and forth between truth-seeking and persuasion. That is, between questions about the subject matter, like what is the best solution to the given problem, and about the audience, like what do the readers already believe or value. What reasons and evidence will most persuade them? When you write an argument, you try to solve a problem or answer a question. The question you raise evolves into your thesis and arguable statement. In traditional Latin terminology, there are 7 main parts of a persuasive speech. Exordium, in which the speaker gets the audience attention. Narratio provides the needed background. Propositio, which is the writer's thesis or claim. Pertitia forecasts the main parts of the speech. It provides the writer's outline of what will follow and the points that will support the main claim. It helps clarify the issues and makes the argument easier for the reader to follow. These 4 steps explained above make the introductory paragraph of an argumentative paper. Introduction sets the mood for the paper and connects the audience to the issue by showing how it arose. It explains the exigency and provides background and history behind the issue. An introduction lays down a foundation for the paper. This is where you should try to fill in the gaps and get your audience engaged. Confirmatia presents and supports the writer's positions and reasoning within the main body of the essay. It provides reasoning behind the claims and then supports the reasoning with evidence coming from reliable sources. Confutatio summarizes and refutes opposing views and provides a fair and complete summary of the opposing points. It shows the weaknesses and concedes strengths. Refutation and concession were discussed in details in the Logical Structure of Arguments lecture. To understand these concepts in detail, please watch the Logical Structure of Arguments video. Peroratio concludes the argument by summing up the points, calling for action and leaving a strong, lasting impression. Conclusion winds up the whole paper. It once again reminds the readers of the main points made in the essay and provides your observations and suggestions. Now that we have discussed the traditional Latin terms for a classical argument, we move to the classical rhetorical appeals. The social context of an argument can be visualized as a triangle with interrelated points labeled message, writer-speaker, and audience, or logos, ethos, and pathos. Effective arguments consider all 3 points on the triangle. If one point of the triangle is altered, the other points are often altered as well. Ethos establishes the writer's credibility, the author's good sense of knowledge of the subject matter at hand, and good character. When assessing a source for its ethos, ask the following questions. Does the author seem to know what he or she is talking about? Is the author an expert in the field? Check the author's credentials. What is their educational background? What is their professional position or job title in the field? Is the writer giving its audience complete and honest information? Is there any bias? Strong writers will always give a complete and honest picture of the matter. Does the author cite other experts for support and evidence? Besides their own credibility and knowledge in the field, citing other experts in their work makes the author more trustworthy. A good example of ethos can be seen in an analysis of Rachel Carson's article Obligation to Endure. As a marine biologist, environmentalist, and researcher, Rachel Carson is an experienced individual within the field. However, she does not limit her audience to just her own knowledge. She supports her claims by citing a number of other credible experts from the fields of ecology, entomology, and philosophy. To strengthen her proposed solution to the problem, she cites ecologist Dr. Charles Elton, who states that we need the basic knowledge of animal populations and their relations to their surroundings that will promote an even balance and damp down the explosive power of outbreaks and new invasions. In this example, you can see how the author shows that while Carson herself is credible, she uses other experts to support her argument. Notice how the author of this example backs up his claim by citing an indirect quote from one of Carson's sources. Logos is an appeal to reasons. It is the way an argument is put together, a chain of reasoning where each link refers to an idea and all these links together make an argument. Logical conclusions come from assumptions and decisions derived from weighing a collection of solid facts and statistics. An example of logical reasoning would be, she backs up her main claim that humans are unnecessarily manufacturing and using chemical pesticides by listing the fact that since the mid-1940s, over 200 basic chemicals have been created for use in killing insects, weeds, rodents, and other organisms described in the modern vernacular as pests. Notice that the statement above uses specific numbers. Most numbers are sound and logical. However, using statistics is not the only way to show logic. Let's consider another example. Carson presents additional logic when she refutes her opposition and says that pesticides are being used excessively to maintain and increase farm production. Yet, the real problem is that of overproduction. In this example, no numeric digits have been presented, yet the reasoning offered is logical and thought-provoking. As a researcher, your job should be to find strong facts and statistics to back up your claims. When you do so, you add logos or logical appeal to your argument. If you use case studies or numeric data from a source, since you did not conduct the original study or survey, you have to make sure you credit the source. Pathos. Pathos is an appeal to emotions, values, and beliefs. It involves using language that will stir the feelings of the audience. Pathos is often associated with the audience's imaginative sympathies, their capacity to feel and see what the writer feels and sees. Look for the author's tone. Is it sympathetic, impersonal, angered, or detached? For example, Carson opens her piece by implanting fear and concern within her audience. She states that the most alarming of all man's assaults upon environment is the contamination of air, earth, rivers, and sea with dangerous and even lethal materials. Here in this example, you can see how Carson gets her audience emotionally involved by inflicting concern within them about the contamination of the ecosystem. Another example would be, she states that these chemicals should not be called insecticides, they are biocides. They kill vegetation, sicken cattle, and work unknown harm on those who drink from once pure wells. Again, you can see how Carson uses feelings of fear and concern to get her audience to understand and relate to the problem. At the heart of any argument is an issue which we can define as a controversial topic area, such as the labeling of genetically modified foods or racial profiling, that gives rise to differing points of view and conflicting claims. Example of an issue question would be, should the present highway tax in diesel fuel be increased? Or should college athletes be salaried? Taking position or making claims. Position is the claim or proposition that clearly states what the writer wants the audience to do with the information being provided. Claims vary in extent. They can be absolute or moderate. Absolute claims assert that something is always true or false, completely good or bad. For example, if someone says grass is green, it suggests that all grass in any place at any time is green. It doesn't leave room for variation, and consequently, it is an absolute statement. This is different from the qualified statement, which would suggest something like sometimes grass is green. Moderate claims are not so rigid. They leave room for probability. For example, most vegetarians live a healthy lifestyle. The word most acts as a qualifier in this statement and leaves room for probability that there could be unhealthy and unfit vegetarians. Claims can be divided into three categories. Substantiation claims. Substantiation means to support with proof or evidence. A substantiation claim makes a point that can be supported by evidence. Example, the post office is rising rates again. Evaluation claims. According to evaluation claims, something is good or bad, effective or ineffective, successful or unsuccessful, attractive or unattractive. For example, the public transportation system in Washington, D.C. is reliable and safe. Policy claims. Policy claims call for an action. For example, we must find the funds to hire better qualified high school teachers. A thesis statement is a sentence that expresses the main ideas of your paper. It offers your readers a quick and easy to follow summary of what the paper will be discussing and what you as a writer are setting out to tell them. The kind of thesis your paper will have will depend on the purpose of your writing. Basic characteristics of an arguable thesis statement include: it is not a fact, but is an assertion about facts. It takes some sort of stand. It justifies discussion. It expresses one main idea, and it is specific. A thesis statement generally consists of two parts, your topic and the main point, which includes the analysis, explanation, or assertion you are making about the topic. In other words, thesis statement equals narrow topic plus main point. For example, animal testing is unethical. It should be banned. To make this simple narrow topic plus main point thesis statement stronger, provide details and a because clause. For example, teenagers should get paid the same wages as adults because teenage workers do the same amount of work, deserve equal labor rights, and need the money to support their lifestyle.